17 suitcases, 17 million. 17 names, Ibrahim Traoré said, placing the list on the polished table. All of it, money earned from our gold. The room was silent. Every eye in the VIP section of Ouagadougou International Airport was on him. It was nearly midnight. Outside, the African sky stretched wide and star-filled. Inside, history was unfolding under cold fluorescent lights. Normally, the airport would be nearly deserted. Only a few security guards, night shift, cleaners, maybe a passenger or two. But tonight was different. Tonight, Ibrahim Traoré's special security forces had locked down every terminal. The elite Red Berets held position at all exits. On the runway, a French diplomatic jet sat surrounded by armored vehicles. Its engines were still running, the pilot awaiting clearance. But clearance would never come. The VIP lounge windows were fogged with condensation. Inside, the atmosphere was charged, the air heavy with truth about to surface. At the table sat the key figures: Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the young leader of Burkina Faso; Colonel Madou Kaboré, head of intelligence; Ousmane Diop, airport director; Justice Minister Aminata Traoré. And at the center of it all, the visibly shaken French ambassador Jacques Dubois. Sweat soaked through Dubois' tailored suit. He shifted uncomfortably, his trembling hands betraying him. "Mr. President," he began, voice straining for control, "this must be a misunderstanding. I have diplomatic immunity under international law." Traoré raised a hand. Silence. His voice was calm, but it cut clean. "Immunity, Ambassador, is not a license to loot our nation. A diplomatic passport does not entitle one to theft." Colonel Kaboré opened the thick file in front of him. He began to read. 10:47 p.m. 3 vehicles from the French embassy enter the airport. 11:15. 17 suitcases loaded onto the French diplomatic jet. 11:38. Ambassador Dubois arrives at the VIP lounge. 11:45. Plane requests takeoff clearance. "Those are diplomatic cargo," Dubois protested weakly. "Under the Vienna Convention, which also states," Aminata Traoré interjected sharply, "that diplomatic cargo must not contain weapons, drugs, or illegal materials. So, Ambassador, what's in those suitcases?" Dubois said. "Nothing." His eyes darted toward the exit, but 2 soldiers blocked the door. "No escape." "Open them," Traoré said. Just one word. But the weight of it filled the room. 2 soldiers stepped forward, hoisted the first suitcase onto the table. It was black, reinforced, marked with diplomatic seals. Kaboré photographed the seals. "For evidence," he said, "so no one can deny it." The lock clicked. The lid opened slowly. A gasp escaped from Director Diop. My God. Inside, bundles of crisp euro banknotes, stacked in perfect rows, each wrapped with seals from the Banque de France. Kaboré, now gloved, lifted a stack. 100 notes, $10,000 per bundle, 70 stacks. That's 1 million in just one suitcase. "And this," said Traoré, reaching into the side compartment, "is just the beginning." He pulled out several small gold bars, each stamped with the Burkina Faso national seal. "This is our gold, mined from our soil, carried by our workers, and now smuggled from our land." Dubois turned ashen. I had no knowledge. Rogue. Embassy staff. "Don't lie," Aminata snapped. "Look at the dates. Every bar mined within the last month, all marked for export, but no records of payment received." The second suitcase was opened. No cash this time, only documents. Thick folders, hundreds of pages. Kaboré inspected them with a UV light. "Originals," he said, astonished. "These aren't photocopies. These are state documents." Traoré began leafing through them, his face growing darker with each page. "Mining maps. Reserve estimates not yet released to the public. Uranium deposits. Even," he paused, "even our newly discovered oil fields. That's ultra-classified." "Sir," Kaboré said, stunned, "only 5 people had access. You, me, the energy minister, the chief of staff, and..." His voice trailed off as his eyes landed on a name in the documents. "Pascal Urago," Traoré finished. "The geology director. So, he's been bought," Diop said quietly. "How valuable is this information?" someone asked. Aminata answered without hesitation. "To the right buyers? Priceless. When foreign companies get this kind of information in advance," Aminata said, her voice sharp with conviction, "they can outmaneuver everyone. They buy land before it's publicly valued. They sign deals before tenders are even announced. They make quiet partnerships with local firms. And they walk away with billions in advantage." The third suitcase was open. Dubois suddenly stood, wiping his forehead. "I need to use the restroom." "Sit down," Traore said. His tone didn't rise, but the steel behind it was unmistakable. "We're just getting started." Inside the suitcase, photographs, hundreds of them. Colonel Caboret began spreading them across the table like playing cards in a high-stakes game. "Minister Ouagadougou," he said, holding up a photo. "At a nightclub in Paris. Who's that with him?" "French arms dealers." Picked up another. "General Kawa, caught at a Geneva bank. That briefcase, full of cash." More photos. "Governor Zongrana's wife, shopping on the Champs-Élysées, paid for by a French mining firm." Each image had dates, times and locations carefully logged. A surveillance operation, a blackmail archive. "What were you planning to do with these?" Traoré asked Dubois quietly. Dubois said nothing. He didn't need to. The answer was obvious. The fourth suitcase was opened. Colonel Caboret recoiled. "Weapons! Careful!" Inside, state-of-the-art spy equipment, micro-listening devices, button-sized hidden cameras, drone scouts no bigger than birds, signal jammers, frequency scanners. Caboret picked up a sleek black module, squinting at a tiny marking. "This has an NSA logo. This is American intelligence tech." "How did France get it?" asked Aminata. "NATO," Traoré answered. "Technology sharing among allies, but they don't use it on each other. They use it on us, on Africa." The fifth suitcase revealed a different kind of weapon. Identities. Dozens of fake passports, driver's licenses, press badges, even diplomatic IDs. All different names. But the photos, same people. "I know this man," said Diop, holding up a passport. "He came last month, human rights observer." Aminata held another. "Same man. He interviewed Minister Ouagadougou as a journalist." "One man, 3 identities," Caboret said. "Jean-Pierre Martin, François Dubois, Michel Bernard. 3 names, 3 professions, 3 countries." Traoré stood and walked to the window, where the French jet still sat on the runway, engines idling. "How many years have you played?" "This game," he asked, still facing the night. "How many years have you sent spies into our country, controlled our leaders with blackmail, stolen our gold, our uranium, and now even our oil?" The sixth suitcase silenced the room. Inside, Burkina Faso military secrets, deployment strategies, weapons inventories, personnel rosters, vulnerable supply chains. Caboret's hands trembled. "This information is stored in the General Staff's secure vault. Only 3 people have access." 4. Traoré corrected. "You forgot Miriam, the cleaning woman. She's been there 20 years, invisible. But she sees everything. Here's everything." Caboret was stunned. "That old woman. Don't be fooled by appearances," Traoré said. "The best spies are the ones no one suspects." The 7th suitcase. More money. But this time in multiple currencies. Dollars, euros, pounds, even Chinese yuan. "Bribery funds," Aminata muttered. "Pay them in whatever they want. The corruption is customized." The 8th suitcase held luxury gifts, designer watches, jewelry. High-end electronics, each item had a card attached. "For Minister Traoré, a small gift. For General Kafando's wife, with admiration. Graduation gift for Governor Zongrana's son." "They're not just buying officials," Aminata said with disgust. "They're buying families, wives, sons, daughters." The 9th suitcase broke Caboret's composure. He dropped the papers in his hand. This is impossible." Inside were documents relating to Traoré's private life. Photographs, audio recordings, medical reports. Traore flipped through them. My last checkup results. Only my doctor and I had this. Only us. Traore held up another sheet. Transcripts from your private security meetings. Word for word. Traore studied the document, then looked up, his voice low. Date, last. Tuesday, time, 3:05 p.m. Location, secure room. Participants, me, you, the defense minister. Topic, closure of French military bases. We swept that room, Traore exclaimed. Top to bottom. There couldn't be a listening device. Maybe there isn't one, Traore replied. Maybe there's a person. The room fell still. Everyone exchanged glances. Only 3 people had entered that secure room, and all 3 were now in this room. Traore turned slowly to the defense minister. Unless, he whispered, it's you. He didn't come to that meeting, Traore said, surprised. He was sick. No, Traore replied firmly. He came, but only for 5 minutes. Then he left, saying he had an urgent call. Do you remember what it was about? Traore nodded. The arms shipment from France. From France, Traore repeated, shaking his head. What a coincidence. The 10th suitcase was opened. Inside were scientific reports, geological surveys, soil analyses, water resource maps. These are state secrets, Aminata said, aghast. Our universities and research centers have worked for years on these. Traore scoffed. And now French companies will use them to make us offers, as if they discovered them themselves. The 11th suitcase contained propaganda materials, brochures, posters, and videos titled A New Future for Burkina Faso. Traore read aloud, Leader, General Laurent Quimper. Laurent Quimper? Traore frowned. I thought he died in the 2019 coup attempt. He's alive, Traore said quietly, and the French have been hiding him. Aminata pressed play on one video. Look at this professional production. Expensive equipment. Impossible to film these in Burkina Faso. Traore examined the background closely. There. That's the Eiffel Tower. This was filmed in Paris. The 12th suitcase contained small bottles, powders, capsules. What are these? Diop asked. Traore picked one up, examining the label. His face went pale. Poison, he read aloud. Odorless, tasteless, leaves no trace, simulates heart attack, mimics stroke, appears as food poisoning. An assassination kit, Traore said coldly. Who are you planning to kill with these? For the first time, Dubois spoke. I'm just a courier. I don't know what these are. You don't know? Traore's voice was sharp. But you personally loaded 17 suitcases. Security cameras caught you. When the 13th suitcase was opened, a technology expert was urgently summoned. It contained hard drives, USBs, CDs. After a few moments, Abdoulaye looked up. Mr. President, these are copies of our entire digital infrastructure. What do you mean? Aminata asked. Our government systems, banking networks, telecommunications. Everything is backed up here, with passwords. So? Diop asked. Abdul's answer was grim. Whoever holds these can paralyze the entire country, stop banks, cut communications, disable the power grid. Cyber warfare weapons, Traore said bitterly. Now the fight isn't with tanks or planes, but computers. The 14th suitcase held oil and gas contracts, drafts, signatures, clauses. Aminata pointed to one. Look at this. 80% of all oil and gas found will belong to the French company. Burkina Faso only gets 20%. 50-year concessions. Cabaret added, shaking his head. They'll control our oil for half a century. Traore showed the signature page. My signature, he said. A perfect forgery. The 15th suitcase held lists of names. Hundreds, maybe thousands. Students, teachers, journalists, union members, clergy, artists. What kind of list is this? Diop asked. Traore's face darkened as he examined it. A threat list. Aminata pointed to coded marks next to names. K, to be closed. T, to be arrested. S, exile. U, to be killed. How many have you? Cabaret asked. Aminata counted. 47. Journalists, judges, opposition leaders, and me. Traore showed his own name at the top. The 16th suitcase contained satellite photos and detailed maps of every corner of Burkina Faso. These are military satellite images, Cabaret said. The resolution is so high you can read license plates. Traore pointed at a map. All our bases marked. Weapons depots, fuel tanks, ammunition stores, Aminata whispered. Invasion plans. Everything is ready. They're just waiting for orders. Before opening the 17th and final suitcase, Traore took a deep breath. This is the last one. Let's see what surprises it holds. Inside was a single thick file, black-covered, with gold letters. Operation Sankara. Secret Traore's hands trembled slightly. Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's legendary leader, had been assassinated in 1987, 36 years later. Traore opened the first page. At the top, October 15th, 1987. The day Sankara was killed. Operation Sankara. Traore began reading aloud. Objective: elimination of Thomas Sankara and installation of a pro-Western government. The room fell into a heavy silence. Everyone held their breath listening. Participants: French Secret Service, DGSE, CIA liaison officer Blaise Carré, and 12 Burkina Faso officers. Method: armed assault during palace meeting, killing of Sankara and 12 comrades. Result: operation successful. Blaise Carré brought to power. French interests secured. Traore turned the pages. Photographs appeared. Sankara's body, bullet holes, bloodstains. Look at this, he said, pointing to the last pages. Operation Sankara Phase 2. Date 2023-2024. Target Ibrahim Traoré. Objective: elimination of Traoré, who continues Sankara's legacy. Method: political pressure. Economic embargo. If pressure fails, physical elimination as last resort. Preparation: purchase of 17 high-level Burkina Faso officials. Preparation of Laurent Quimper as backup leader. Budget: $50 million approval, received from Paris Traoré. Closed the file, his face unreadable, but deep sadness shone in his eyes. 36 years, he said quietly. 36 years later. Same scenario, same methods, same killers. Dubois stood up, shaken. I didn't know about this. I swear, I only handled the suitcases. Be quiet, Traoré snapped. It's not time for talk. He turned to Colonel Cabaret. Everyone on the 17 name list will be arrested immediately. Their homes and offices will be searched. Assets seized. Yes, sir, Aminata confirmed. Extraordinary parliamentary meeting tomorrow morning. Traoré continued. These documents will be shown to the MPs. The people will learn the truth. Understood, Mr. President? Understood, Dio replied. The airport will be closed. No one in or out. All flights cancelled. As you command. Finally, Traoré faced Dubois. You, Ambassador, I'm giving you one chance. Just one. Dubois looked hopeful. You'll return to Paris, but not alone. I'm sending a message with you. Copies of all 17 suitcases. Every document, every photograph, every recording. You will deliver this message. Traore walked to the window. Outside, dawn was breaking. The African sun was rising on the horizon. Burkina Faso is no longer a colony. Our gold, our uranium, our oil are ours. You cannot buy our people with blackmail, threats, or money. You killed Thomas Sankara, but you could not kill his ideas. He turned back to Dubois. Tell Laurent Quimper and his friends. Let them come. We are ready, but this time the outcome will be different. What if France reacts? Dubois asked nervously. Economic sanctions? Military intervention? Let them come. Traoré said calmly. It's not 1987 anymore. Africa is awakening. Mali, Guinea, Niger. We stand together. And the world is watching. At 6 a.m., Burkina Faso's national television abruptly interrupted its broadcast. Traoré appeared on screen. Behind him, the 17 suitcases lined up. Dear citizens, he began, tonight we witnessed one of the most important events in our history. 17 suitcases were seized. I will share their contents with you over the next 2 hours. One by one, Traoré revealed the contents. Documents, photographs, money, weapons. Everything was shown live to the entire world. 17 suitcases, he said finally. 17 million. 17 million traders. But we are 17 million Burkinabe, and now we are awake. When the broadcast ended, thousands poured into the streets of Ouagadougou, waving flags and banners. Long live independence. Zero! Down with colonialism. Paris. Crisis meetings. Paris emergency meetings were underway. The French president was furious. This is unacceptable. We must intervene immediately. But the foreign minister counseled caution. Mr. President, the whole world is watching. The evidence is clear. If we intervene, we'll lose all of Africa. What will we do then? Do nothing, shouted the defense minister. We wait, said an old diplomat quietly, and hope other African nations don't follow Burkina Faso's lead. But it was too late. Burkina Faso's courage had ignited a domino effect. In Mali, President Aimi Goya called. An emergency meeting was called. All French company contracts will be reviewed, the official declared. Strict inspections will begin at our airports. In Niger, thousands of young people took to the streets, chanting, "We want 17. Suitcases too. Our uranium is ours." Similar movements erupted in Guinea, Senegal, and Ivory Coast. Africa's young leaders were inspired by Traoré's courage. At the United Nations, an emergency session convened. The French representative spoke first. This is a violation of diplomatic immunity against international law. The Burkina Faso representative rose, clutching files in his hands. Mr. President, what does international law say about stealing sovereign countries' resources? What does it say about controlling their leaders through blackmail? What does it say about killing Thomas Sankara? Silence filled the hall. Here is the evidence. He placed the files on the table, the contents of the 17 suitcases, letting everyone see and know the truth. The Chinese representative took the floor. We support Burkina Faso's sovereign rights, the Russian representative added. The age of colonialism is over. Those who refuse to accept this will be consigned to history. The U.S. representative remained silent, unwilling to openly support either France or Burkina Faso. Strategic ambiguity at play. That evening in Ouagadougou, The streets came alive with celebration. Fires burned in the squares. Drums beat. Songs filled the air. An old man wept, clutching a photograph of Thomas Sankara. "We waited 36 years," he whispered. "Finally, justice has been served." A young woman stepped forward to the microphone. "My father works in the mines. He earns $2 a day. The gold he extracts is worth 10,000. That will change now." A group of students chanted in unison. "Education will be free. Healthcare will be free. Because our resources are ours." Back in the palace, Traoré was tired but determined. The cabinet meeting continued. "What happens tomorrow?" asked the defense minister. "France won't stand idle." "We are prepared," Traoré replied firmly. "We have defense agreements with Mali and Niger. Russia and China have promised support. Most importantly, our people stand with us." "Economic sanctions?" asked the economy minister. "We have gold," Traoré said. "We have uranium. Soon we'll have oil. We'll print our own currency, establish our own bank, create a common market with the African Union." "What about traitors inside?" the interior minister asked. 17 are in custody," Cabaret replied. "Interrogations continue. They've named 50 more. The network is larger than we thought. We'll clean them all," Traoré declared. "But they will be judged fairly. We are a state of law, not lawless like them." At midnight, alone on the balcony, Traoré looked out over Ouagadougou's lights. Celebration sounds drifted through. The night. He pulled a small photograph from his pocket, Thomas Sankara's. "We did it, Commander," he whispered. "Late, but we did it." The next morning, French newspapers branded Traoré a dictator, thief, and terrorist. But no one believed the lies anymore. Images of the 17 suitcases had gone viral worldwide. The 17 suitcases trended on social media. Debates ignited in the European Parliament. Progressive MPs criticized France. "We're in the 21st century. Are you still doing colonialism?" Conservative MPs defended. "These are Africa's internal affairs." But the truth was clear. Pandora's box had been opened, and it would never close. A week later, a surprise delegation arrived from France, led by an old diplomat, Pierre Folcart, grandson of Jacques Folcart. "We want to talk," he said. "We want to open a new page." Traoré agreed, but on one condition. "The talks will be broadcast live. My people will see everything." Folcart had no choice but to accept. When the talks began, Traoré spoke first. "First, let's face the past. You had Thomas Sankara killed. Do you admit it?" After a long silence, Folcart answered, "In the past, mistakes were made." Traoré raised his voice. "Is killing a leader a mistake?" "Okay," Folcart admitted. "Yes, France played a role. We are sorry." The confession was broadcast live to the entire world. An historic moment. "Now, let's look to the future," Traoré said. "Burkina Faso is a sovereign country. Our resources belong to us. Do you accept this?" "Yes," Folcart replied. "We accept. All mining contracts will be cancelled. New ones will be negotiated under fair conditions. You accept, so we can discuss?" Folcart asked. "No," Traoré replied firmly. "No discussion. Do you accept or not?" Folcart called. "Paris." After a long conversation, he returned. "We accept. Your military bases will be closed. Your soldiers will leave our country." "This is unacceptable," Folcart said, his voice tight. "Then the talks are over." Traore said, standing up. Wait. Folkart pleaded. Okay, we accept. And so, after hours of tense negotiations, a historic agreement was signed. Burkina Faso gained full independence, but the story was far from over. A month later, Laurent Compaoré attempted to cross into Burkina Faso with 200 mercenaries. His goal? Stage a coup, overthrow Traoré. But Traoré was ready. Intelligence had warned him in advance. An ambush was set at the border. The clash was brief. The mercenaries surrendered. Laurent Compaoré was captured. In court, Kari confessed everything. France had supplied money and weapons, promised support, but then abandoned him. 6 months after the 17 suitcases incident, Burkina Faso's economy showed unexpected growth. Revenues from gold exports were finally returning to the people. For the first time, a school was built in every village. A health center opened in every neighborhood. Job opportunities were created for unemployed youth. Agricultural projects flourished. The international press marveled. The Burkina Faso miracle, they called it. Traoré, in a speech, said simply, "There is no miracle. We are just using our own resources ourselves. It's that simple." The 17 suitcases were placed in a museum named the National Independence Museum. Hundreds of visitors came every day. Schools brought students to learn. An old teacher explained, "Children, inside these suitcases was our country's stolen future, but our president took it back." A little girl asked, "Teacher, will the French come again?" The teacher smiled. "Even if they come, we are awake now. We will never sleep again." And indeed, Burkina Faso never did sleep again. The 17 suitcases were not just money and documents. They became a symbol of awakening, resistance, and victory. Years later, history books would write, "The 17 suitcases incident marked the beginning of Africa's second independence movement. The first was political. This second was economic. And this time, it was real." Traoré went down in history as the leader who opened the 17 suitcases. But he always said, "I just opened the suitcases. The real work was done by my people. They woke up. They claimed ownership. They fought. The victory is theirs." And Burkina Faso once again lived up to its name. Land of upright people. 17 suitcases. 17 million people. But in the end, one truth remained. Freedom. That night at the airport, it wasn't just suitcases that were opened. A nation's eyes were opened, and they would never close again. The last word belonged to a little girl standing in the museum, gazing at the 17 suitcases. She asked her mother, "Mom, is our gold ours now?" "Yes, my daughter," her mother replied. "It's ours now, forever." And the little girl smiled, knowing she now had a future, a real future, a free future, opened by 17 suitcases.